In gaming, there's a line. It's a fine line between paying for a great product and feeling totally ripped off. Today, we're taking a look at some of the moments when developers didn't just cross that line, they launched themselves over it. But what is it that actually makes a game feel greedy? It's not always about the price tag, right? It's more of a gut feeling, that nagging sense that a promise was broken, that some unspoken rule of fairness was just completely ignored. See, it all comes down to this kind of unspoken contract between us, the players, and the people who make the games. We pour in our time, our money, our passion, and in return, we expect, a fair shot, a rewarding experience. So when does that trust get broken? Well, it usually falls into a few key patterns. First up, we've got a pattern that really hits players where it hurts, devaluing your time. This is when a game takes all those hours, all that effort you've put in, all that grinding, and just poof, makes it feel like it was all for nothing.
Clash Royale is a perfect example of this. For years, the ultimate goal was hitting the max level, but the goalpost just kept moving. Back in 2016, it was level 13. Then in 2021, it got bumped to 14. Then 15 in 2023. The jump to level 16 was the last straw for so many people. It felt like the game had become this endless grind or spend treadmill, and with every level cap increase, years of player investment felt like they were just being wiped away.
Destiny 2 took this whole concept even further with its infamous sunsetting system. Imagine spending years grinding for that one perfect weapon, like the mountaintop, only to have the game slap a power cap on it, making it basically useless in high-level stuff. What's worse, the Destiny Content Vault straight up removed entire campaigns and planets, stuff people had paid real money for. Bungie did eventually backpedal after a huge backlash, but man, it left a pretty deep scar on the community. And then you've got the progression hell of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. It's a brutal cycle. You grind for months, maybe even years to gear up your characters, then bam, a new system like Relics or Galactic Legends comes out, the power ceiling shoots up and your team is suddenly obsolete. And to unlock the new shiny character, you have to go back and rebuild a whole bunch of old ones. It's an endless treadmill designed to make you feel like you're always behind, unless you open your wallet.
Pixel Gun 3D is maybe an even more cynical take on this. It started out as a really fun, skill-based shooter, but over time, it just turned into this predictable, money-making loop. Step 1, release a new, totally overpowered weapon. Step 2, watch it completely dominate the game, forcing everyone to either spend money or grind like crazy to get it. And then, once enough people have it, Step 3, quietly nerf it into the ground. Rinse and repeat with the next update. It just slowly sucks the fun out of playing. All right, our next pattern is, well, it's just infuriating. We're talking about charging for the absolute basics, the kind of features that have been completely standard in games for, like, decades. 1. That's it. That's how many save slots you got when you bought the full-priced game Metal Gear Survive. Just 1. And if you wanted another one, to try a new character or just to experiment, you had to buy it with real money. Let that sink in. In a survival game where trying things out and making mistakes is the whole point, they locked a feature as basic as a save slot behind a paywall. It was just unbelievably greedy. The story of The Calling is just a tragedy. It was this really promising early battle royale with a great community, but then the developers launched a terrible sequel that flopped, and in a moment of desperation, they did something baffling. They relaunched the original game with a pay-per-play model. You got one free match per day. If you lost, you either had to pay to play again or wait a full 24 hours. In a genre where you lose like all the time, it killed the game almost instantly. The difference between the old Angry Birds and what we have now is just night and day. Remember the classic? You bought it once and that was it. You could play forever. No ads, no timers, just a brilliant little puzzle game. The modern versions, they're free, but they're absolutely crammed with ads, energy systems, pop-ups, you name it. Eventually, Rovio even delisted the original paid games, basically pushing everyone towards this new model that's less of a game and more of a machine for getting you to spend money. Okay, our final pattern is maybe the most controversial one of all because it's so modern. This isn't about ruining your past achievements, it's about selling you a future that might never actually get here. Just look at this number. It's staggering. Over $700 million. That's how much money the game Star Citizen has raised from players since it was announced way back in 2012. And yet, here we are, over a decade later, and the game is still in alpha. What they sell are virtual spaceships, sometimes for hundreds, even thousands of real-world dollars. And the promise is this massive, incredible, living sci-fi universe. But what's still missing are the core parts of a game: finished gameplay loops, a working economy, a finished product. The real controversy here is that the monetization, the selling of ships, seems to be expanding way faster than the actual game development, which has turned crowdfunding into this permanent business model that never needs to deliver a final game. So, why do we do it? Why do players keep pouring money and time into games that seem designed to take advantage of them? Well, the answer really lies in a little bit of psychology. There's this incredibly powerful force at play that keeps us hooked, even when our logical brain is screaming at us to just walk away. It's called the sunk cost fallacy. And put simply, it's that feeling that you have to keep going because you've already invested so much. We absolutely hate the idea that all our past effort might have been a waste. It's that little voice in your head that says, well, I can't quit now, I've already come this far. And these game systems are designed to trigger that feeling over and over again.
This quote sums it up perfectly. It's about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, but it applies to so many of these games. You're paying so all your past effort doesn't feel wasted. Think about that for a second. At that point, you're not paying to have fun anymore. You're not even really paying to win. You're paying money to protect your past investment of time and effort from feeling worthless. It completely changes why you're even playing the game.
And all of this leads to one final really tough question. Look, every game needs to make money to survive, and we all want to support the developers that make the games we love. But as these business models get more and more aggressive, we have to ask ourselves, where do you draw the line? When does supporting a game become enabling a broken system? Honestly, that's a question every single one of us has to answer for ourselves.